Welcome to the recorded version of How to Make Your Life Easier with Technology. This was originally presented on Monday, November 10th at 12:30. This is the recorded version. If you would like to get this presentation, feel free to go to socialwork.umaryland.edu/how.pdf and you will be able to get all the information that I'm presenting for you today. How to make your life easier with technology. There are two reasons to adopt technology. One, whether it is more effective. Two, whether it's more efficient. What if all the resources were in one place and the resources were actually helpful? So we went ahead and created a resource called Social Work Student Resources. You can get the resources at socialwork.umaryland.edu/students. Again, you can just go to this link up here in the PDF, click on it, and go to socialwork.umaryland.edu/students. So the goal of this presentation is one, what is in the toolbox? Two, to give an in-depth look at note-taking and presentation tools. So I'm going to go ahead and review some of the tools, not in depth, but just kind of give you an idea of what's available in the toolbox. So we have Adobe Reader, and so you're going to use the research papers. You're going to be able to need to use Adobe Reader to read those PDFs. Animoto and HeiQ Deck. These are two applications that I will be going into a little bit more depth at a later time in this presentation. Blackboard and MyUM. Blackboard is where you can get your course materials, and MyUM is where you can get to your SURFs account, where you can get to all the information that you need to using your MyUM account. Then you have Campus Help, Campus Software, and Social Work IT Help. And these are all places where you can get information if you need to be able to find out more about where to get to information on campus. If you wanted to get to your software like Microsoft Office, Word, PowerPoint, and you wanted to get to it at a cheaper cost, you would want to go ahead and click on the campus software, and it will give you the location and tell you the prices and what's available. And then SSW IT Help will tell you who to go to when you need help with a technology problem. Dropbox. I witness a lot of students using USB devices. You know, they use the flash drives. I did have an experience with a doctoral student who had all her research on her USB drive and nowhere else. She accidentally stepped on it and lost her research. So I would advise that you put your information, your papers, or things that actually matter to you on Dropbox. Very, very important. They just increased the space for you to be able to put your storage space to be able to put your files in. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend you using Dropbox. And again, all these tools that I'm showing you are all free. Eduroam. If you need to get to the wireless network, this is a really good way to be able to click on it, and will give you setup instructions on how to use your phone, how to use your laptop, how to use whatever device you have to get connected to the wireless network. As a student, you are given an email address. Your email address is derived from Google. So you will have a Google Mail account and a Google Plus, where you can go ahead and you have different applications that you have access to. Google Plus and Google Hangout are really good places to use to be able to collaborate with your fellow classmates. And Google Mail is where you can go ahead and you can get your information from your email account. Evernote and Kindle are two really good note-taking tools, and I'm going to go in depth shortly as to show you how these work. Again, I already reviewed Campus Software, but I wanted to highlight that because that's going to save you money. And Google Plus, as I was telling you about, / Google Hangout and Skype are really good collaborative ways to communicate with your classmates. Google Hangout / Google Plus is a really, if you have 6 or more students, a small group of people, it's really good to be able to talk to, have discussion groups, and those type of things. Now, when you're doing research, you are able to, as a student, to get a Qualtrics account for free. If you wanted to get right to the social work research resources, if you click right on this link, it will take you right there. Google Scholar is a really good place to find research. Medley and RefWorks are 2 really good resource, citation, and bibliography applications. I highly recommend Medley. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing it right, but I would highly recommend this application. I use this for my own research. It does a really good job of citing your resources. It does your bibliography, but one thing that's unique from this is that if I wanted to do a search on child welfare, on all the research that I've gathered, it will tell me where those articles are and where in the articles I can find that information, which saves you a lot of time. Now, to get to media, right? To be able to get to your media, one really good place to be able to find your media is iTunes, VLC, and Windows Media. So when you're trying to watch videos and those type of things, those would be the resources you want to get to. VLC is probably the best application to be able to use because you're able to see any video that you want using VLC. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to download any of them, I would download VLC, because if you're having trouble watching movies, you should be able to watch any movie using the VLC player. Okay, so note taking. There's 2 tools I'm going to show you and I'm pretty excited about because it's going to help make your life a little bit easier. And that's what the goal of this presentation is to make your life easier and showing you how technology can make it more efficient and more effective. And so this is one of the ways I'm going to show you, is showing you these applications, and hopefully you'll be able to put it in your workflow of how you do your daily work, and that's going to hopefully help you, and you're going to be like, oh, this was good, this was a priceless information. So I'm going to do an Evernote demo, and this is Evernote. This is actually my Evernote, and I have what you call a doctoral stack. And I can put in all my doctoral work in this stack. So you can create what you call a notebook. And so you can see I have various notebooks. So I have a direction notebook. I have a password notebook where I put a lot of my passwords in there and I protect it. I have a research notebook. We actually have a social work IT notes notebook where we share it amongst each other. So any new information we share it so that everybody's up on speed on all the information that we have. So that's one way you can use Evernote. And so I went ahead and created a notebook, a stack, and then put all the relevant notebooks together, and that's why it's called a stack. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you one of the courses that I took and how I used Evernote. This is the original notes that I had, and this is what I created with the first class that I had. And this is just writing it down, okay? And well, actually, I type it all. So just type in it. And the opportunity we had is that when someone draws something like this on the board and you look at your notes and you're looking at the board and you're thinking, I'm not going to be able to duplicate this, and that's going to be a problem because this information is important. So I asked the teacher permission to take a picture of it, and I went ahead and I put it in my notes. You can also put links. You can put images from the internet. And these are notes where I went ahead, I noticed that I was having trouble with figuring out what was important and what wasn't. So I went ahead and recorded the whole lecture, and then I went ahead and transcribed them all. And this is part of the transcription that you will see that I transcribed from the words from my instructor. Now, what I would advise you to do is, if you're going to go ahead and you're going to record, right? You're going to record a note. What you want to make sure you do is, if you're going to record it in class, you ask the professor and make sure that they're okay with it. You don't want to blatantly just go ahead and record. You need to ask the instructor's permission. So that's what I did first, is I checked with her and I said, is it okay if I go ahead and record your lectures, because I need to be able to do that? And most instructors are fine with it. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to open a note. So here I'm going to open the note in the actual notebook that I have. And I went ahead and I clicked on the announcement. So I went ahead and I clicked on this announcement right here. Now I'm going to click on record. And so clicking on record, and I'm saying and speaking whatever it is I need to say, and then I'm going to save it. And you can tell that it's working because you're going to have a volume box right here. And then it's going to record the actual file. And then you can play the file back, and that's how you can go ahead and you can record it. So what I did was I went ahead, I used Evernote as a way of recording the information, then I would listen to it, and I would type it out, and that's how I was able to get to my notes. So hopefully that makes sense as a way in which you can use this. I think it's a very, very valuable resource to be able to have better notes, and hopefully you'll be able to retain it more by doing this way if you're struggling with learning and you're having trouble with keeping up with what to write and what not to write. Kindle Demo. Here's another way to take notes. So that Evernote that I just showed you was a way to be able to do it if you have a class lecture, right? To take notes that way. But what if you're reading a book, okay? You can go ahead and go to kindle.freedownload.com, and you can download Kindle, the actual app, on your Mac, on your PC, on your Android, on your iPhone, any device. Okay, so they do a really good job of, you don't need a Kindle to use the Kindle app to get books. You can use it on your PC, again, you can use a Mac, Android, or phone. And if you wanted to get to the download on your PC or your Mac, you just go to kindle.onfreedownload.com, okay? You're going to click on free download. You're going to download your Kindle app, and this is what it actually looks like. So here are a lot of my books that are here, okay? Now I'm going to go to Wrapped, and Wrapped is actually, I recommend Wrapped. It's a very excellent book. It's on attention and focus. It's probably the best book that I've ever read in my entire life. And I usually read technical books, so I was forced to read something else besides that. And I have to say this is probably one of the best books that I've ever read. So here's the table of contents. And what you want to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight. So back in the day, you would go ahead and read your paper book, and then you would go to a piece of paper and you would write it down. For some people, that still works. And if that works for you, don't change it. But for some people, that doesn't work well, because it takes a lot of time for you to be able to read the book and then write the notes, and you forgot what it is you read that you were going to be able to write, and that can be problematic, and it takes a lot of time. So here, I'm going to go over here and I'm going to put my cursor and I'm going to highlight these words right here. When I do that, this drop bar comes up, and I'm simply going to go ahead and hit highlight. Again, I'm going to take my cursor, I'm going to just simply press it down, highlight these word space, this toolbar comes up, and I click highlight. And what it will look like is it will look like this actual yellow information once I do that. So what? So I went ahead and I clicked highlight. So what? So I have now in my text a highlighted version. But what does that mean? So if I go to kindle.amazon.com and I sign in and I go to my highlights, it will have taken all the things that I've highlighted in my book and made it a long list. And this is a really good way to go back from it after you've highlighted it and kind of understand what you highlighted, what information is there, and go ahead and be able to really absorb it. So this is just one way. This is one of the ways that I do it. I don't learn from just highlighting it. I actually have to go back, look at the information I highlighted, and understand it a little bit better. But this is just another tool if you're trying to save time and you don't want to be able to move your eyes from the actual paper book to the actual text. You can just highlight it. Now, here are some presentation tools that you can use. So the goal here is to be able to explore how we present information and discover the tools to use, and then understand what are the best practices. There's another presentation that I gave, and you can get more detailed information from that has to do more with branding if you go to it_presentation.pdf. socialwork.umaryland.edu/it_presentation.pdf. That's another presentation. I gave more details on branding and font if you want to go ahead and you want to use that. So everyone has a story to tell. It's really key to understand our audience and who we're presenting to. And one of the things I see all the time is people using PowerPoints as Word documents. They put lots and lots of words in Word documents. And I would highly, highly advise you not to do that. For some people's brains, they see all the text and they completely shut it off. And so I would advise you to just put some bullet points in there and talk from your heart and talk from the knowledge that you have in your head. So I'm going to divide this into 3 ways: images, text, and videos. And we're going to look at images first. One of the most difficult things of being able to present something is finding the images that are right for telling your story. So I'm going to show you an awesome tool that I'm very, very impressed with. I think it's very good, and it gives you a good start of creating your presentation. Now, I use this as a start. I don't use this as the end-all be-all. I use it as one tool to give me the images I want to start telling my story. First thing I do, and you can get this for your web or your iPad. In other words, you can get it on any device you want. All you need to do is go to this link right here, and you can get to this page. So I'm going to sign in, and I'm going to create a new account. And I'm going to put in my email address and password, and then I'm going to put my password in one more time, so you just have to verify it. You simply click sign up, and you're good. It will give you a tutorial, but you don't need one because I'm giving you one. And the first thing you do is you pick your theme. What is your theme? What does it want to look like? So do you want big, bold text in your image? Do you want smaller text? Do you want a thicker text? So you're just going to go through and you're going to find the themes that you want. On the left-hand side, here you're going to have text, images, layout, and notes. And here I'm going to go ahead, I'm just going to start with my main slide, my first slide that I'm going to use for my presentation. So I'm going to pick the text and layout. Within that layout, I can pick whatever image I want. So here I'm going to the image. I'm going to the image to find my image. And here I'm going under concept. So again, let me go back to that. So here's my presentation, my proof of concept, and I want to create an image right below it. So I have it as my main slide. I went ahead and I pressed image, and here the word concept automatically came up. I didn't even have to put it in there, and it gave me an image. So I just picked the apple, and all you do is highlight. When you hit search, you'll see concept. If you just click on the actual image, it will automatically be put in here. The nice thing about this and how it saves time is that you don't have to worry about the size that it fits for the slide. It's a small image, so it's not going to be a big, huge file PowerPoint slide. And it also goes ahead and gives you the copyright information on the bottom of the screen, which makes it really nice. I picked my apple. Now I want to pick the different layouts that I want. So I'm going to go to the layout image right here, and I'm going to pick whatever layout that I want to fit with my beginning slide. And as you can see, when I pick the different images that are there, it will look differently on each single slide depending on what layout that I pick. Okay? Now I'm happy with this layout, but I'm not happy with the background. The background is just not something that I really like. So I'm going to go back to the image icon. I'm going to click on background, and I'm going to click search. And voila, that's a much nicer picture to start with my beginning slide for my presentation. Now I'm going to add a slide, and I want bullets. So I'm going to go back to text right here. I'm going to select my bullets, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my words in. What's nice about this is that, and people will say, what's the difference between this and PowerPoint? Well, one, you have the images. Two, you don't have to worry about the opacity of the images, of making it a certain opacity for the image to shine through. As you can see, I went ahead and went to the image. It automatically had the word tips, and I can click search. I found an image that I want. I put it in here very simply just by clicking on the image. It put it in here, but my words are the most prevalent. So the background is in the background. My image is in the background, and that makes it look really nice. If I want to put notes, I can go ahead and I can put notes. I really want just one picture with no words, and I want a butterfly. Butterfly was can be a really nice image if you want to be able to, any images that you want. This is a really good way to just have like one image on here if you want to, that's the story that you want to tell. And you can also pick where you want it to be public, so you can send this link out. You can make it restricted, and you can also make it private. You can share it with people in different formats. And again, you can make it private. And then I can go ahead, I can click on export. And I'm exporting it out. And you can export it out as a PDF or a PowerPoint. Now here I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to export it out as a PowerPoint. And this is what it looks like in PowerPoint. So this tool is really good because it gives you a beginning start for your presentation, and it gives you all the images that you want, and then you can start creating your presentation from there. But this is a really good starting point. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click out, and of course I'm going to sign out. Now you can also create your own images by taking pictures, and I think that makes it really personal. The one thing I would advise you to do is take your picture in HDR, high resolution, because you can always cut down on the file size, but you can't add to the file size. So you have a 200 by 300 image. If you try to bring it out and make it to the whole full screen, it's going to look very skewed. So I would start with a higher resolution image first, and then make it smaller if you need to. So here's a trick that most people don't know when finding images. And you're going to say, oh yes, I know this, but give me a second and let me show you. So if you go ahead and go to google.com and you go to images, you can find images, right? We all know this. But if you click on this little asterisk right here, it's going to give me an advanced search. If I go to the advanced search, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find any size. So again, where did I find that? If I go ahead and I click on this little asterisk right here under images, and I find any size, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pick my size, and I can also filter it by license, which is great. So if I don't want to put any copyrighted images in my presentation, which is usually what you don't want to do, you can pick whichever one that you want. So this tool right here, this advanced tool, gives you the ability to be able to find images for size and to find images versus usage rights. And I think it's a really handy tool to find images for your presentation. Placement on the page is very important, and so is size, as we already discussed. I see a lot of people doing this, where they take their image and they put it in in the center of the screen, and then they put presentation best practices and tools. And it really doesn't do a good job of telling the story. So where did your eyes move? You had the image here. Where did your eyes move? Right? What did they do? Well, they moved from left to right to left, and you caused people to go ahead and have to look. Here, your image automatically moved to right. Point being is the placement on your screen, on your image, is very important. See how this tells a little bit better of a story? And what I would have wanted to do, which is I got advice from, is that I would want to make this a little bit bigger than social work, so you knew this was the title and that this wasn't the most prevalent that was coming out. But you can see the difference on how I put an image and how placement of the image and size of the image actually really does matter when you're trying to tell your story. Color matters too, and so does text. But one of the key things that I think is really, really important is colorblindness. And if you're presenting to a lot of men, you really need to be thinking about this, because 1 out of 12 men are colorblind and 1 in 200 are colorblind. If you need to get more information, there's also different types of colorblind. I'm only going to go over one, but you can go to this website, very good website, and it talks more about colorblindness. This is what actually people look like. This is what it looks like to someone who's colorblind who can't see green. So I wanted to give you an image of that. So when you're creating presentations, you really need to be mindful of people who are colorblind if you're presenting to a lot of men. Video, as I stated, was another way to go ahead and insert into your presentation. You can create your own videos. You can put in YouTube videos. And again, creating your own personal videos of something that tells a story can really add to your presentation. And there's another cool tool. I'm not going to go into details of how it works, but I will do that at a later time because we're running out of time. But I want to go ahead and I want to tell you about this tool, and if you want to play with it, it's pretty easy to use. If you go to animoto.com, very great, easy way to take a bunch of pictures, add music with it. It's free. Again, it's a free tool that you can use, and it really makes your videos a lot more dynamic and a little bit more exciting. And I'm going to show you an example. So hopefully, as you can see, that's one way to be able to create a presentation to make it a little bit more dynamic. And so you can go ahead and you can get to this information at socialwork.umaryland.edu/how. And I thank you very much for your time, and hopefully you'll be able to use these tools to make your life a little bit easier. And I look forward to hearing your feedback. Take care. Bye.